pants, clean body. Clean body.
Good evening, darlings. How are you? I hope you're well. And a very warm welcome to Tuesday Night Live with me. And it is just me. Coming live into your eyes and ears. And I'm so sorry about this, but this is annoying me. I need to get these chairs back in their proper position, which I've not done since last night. Hold on, bear with. That's one. Oh, these need to be picked up as well, don't they? Gosh. And hold on. Ah, there we are. There we are. That's better. So, how are you, darlings? I hope you're all very well. I am so tired. So tired, but let's see who we've got. Steve Cold, Black Lions is here. Ah, Trace. I've just read your message, my love. I feel guilty. You don't have to do it, darling. I mean, it's massively appreciated, but you don't have to explain yourself and rectify the situation. But bless you, that's very sweet indeed. Thank you very much. And Trey says it was 20, oh blimey, it was 28 degrees here today, hotter indoors, and now the residual heat is coming off the buildings. And she would like us all to know that she is not naked. Much. God. Okay, well, we're just going to have to try and deal with that. Barry is here. Ashley Stewart, fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Neil's here. There is a distinct lack of Joe, says Trace. I thought he was making an appearance again tonight. Yeah, well, that was the plan. But things change. Right, let's get you up to speed, shall we? You're a bit lower than you normally are, but I don't mind that. I think that might work, actually. What do you think? Normally, you can see the top of that picture there, can't you? And now you can't. And my head, oh, that looks weird when I do that, doesn't it? My head is almost at the top of the screen. What? Let me know. Would you like to go up a bit, or are you okay with that? You're getting more table, aren't you? And that candle's in the wrong place. And what's that? Oh, I see, right. That's not something on my table. That's something on that screen. Okay. Oh, hang on. That's not going to be central to the doings, is it? There we are. There we are. Jolly good. Yeah, so to get you up to speed, Joe and I, who both had oh, God, if you don't know. Right, last night, if you've not watched the Daily Diary, after the live stream, I thought, right, you know, that's it. Get something to eat, get to bed. And I kind of didn't. I stayed up, I edited the daily diary. In order to finish the daily diary, I went outside and did my normal little good night bit, and my enraged neighbour hung out of his upstairs window and berated me and told me that I should have a bit of consideration for my neighbours and that they could hear me and not everybody's fucking nocturnal. And I felt really bad, I felt really guilty. I had no idea. You've watched the daily diaries, right? It's not like I'm shouting. I'm just speaking sotto voce into the phone, into the camera, whatever you want to call it. And I would have had no idea whatsoever that anybody behind a 6 foot thick wall could hear that. Although admittedly, as Mustard pointed out, the bedroom window isn't 6 foot thick, and he probably had the window open, but I had no idea I was disturbing anybody. Of course I didn't. And I wouldn't disturb anybody in a million years, knowingly. And I felt really bad about it. And I was still feeling bad when I woke up this morning, except I was feeling a bit annoyed as well. Typical bloody ex-policeman, and, you know, I've committed the unspeakable criminal act of speaking out loud on my own property in a built-up area during the hours of darkness. But yeah, I just feel bad. I wouldn't want to disturb anybody. I had no idea that anybody could hear me or would be annoyed by it. So I won't do that again. But I ended up going to bed so late. I got the video edited, got it up last night. It went up at about, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? I got it up at about 2:30. And Joe and Simon will be, well, I know Joe is. Joe was still up in his hotel room at 2:30 because he watched the video as soon as it went up. And Simon, I found out, managed to deliberately get lost on the way home by going a circuitous route. And that ended up taking him 2.5 hours. So he wouldn't have got home until about 2:30. So it's a bit of a late night all round. And by the time I'd eaten and whatnot, then it was really quite late. It was like about 3:30, and I'd had the terrible misfortune to have been taken slightly drunk. So this morning was not a good start. Joe and I were grumpy as hell. Joe came round here for 10 o'clock as agreed. I was kind of ready and kind of not. I hadn't had my quota of coffees. And oh God, I was feeling decidedly groggy. I actually woke up this morning. I set the alarm on my iPad, which I left downstairs, so that wasn't helpful. But I woke up, as good luck would have it, I woke up at 8:30, feeling as if I was trying to recover from an autopsy. And I thought, well, right, long day ahead, do the sensible thing, get up, have a wee, get downstairs, make coffee. You've got an hour and a half, you'll be feeling a load better by 10 o'clock. So I did exactly that. Got up, went to the loo, sat down, because I'm a seated whittler these days, have been for a while. So I sat down, had a wee, fell asleep and woke up an hour later. I slept on the bog for an hour this morning. So then it's 9:30 and I've got to jump in the shower, get dressed, all of that business, come downstairs, make coffee. So I wasn't really fit to talk to this morning. Joe wasn't much better than me, bless him. But we headed off in Miss Boo, and we made it to the yard at a more correct time where Simon already was. And so Joe, Simon, Mustard and I had a very pleasant afternoon, an absolutely splendid lunch. Did a lunch video, did a live stream, and then left too late. Got back here at 5:15, which is exactly when I need to leave for work. Cheers, darlings. But on the way back, Joe decided that rather than stay here tonight, which was the plan, he was missing home a bit. And I totally get that. I've spoken to you before about how I'll never end up staying in a hotel in the UK. Even though I've got these ideas for, you know, Mondays and overnights. Because I always want to come home, right? So I would rather drive 3 or 4 hours in the wee small hours of the morning to get home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning than stay in a hotel. So I totally get that Joe wanted to be at home in his own bed. I mean, there's a difference between having a couple of nights in a nice hotel with a decent breakfast and kipping in somebody else's house that you've only just met. But mostly he just wanted to get home. He'd had his adventure, and I totally get that. So I said, yeah, do it. You'll have a nice easy drive home this evening. You can take your time. Doesn't matter what time you get home. You're not at work the next day. Just take it easy. Enjoy the drive. The roads will be nice and quiet. So that's what we ended up doing. He set off home. I set off to work. And as it happens, we both set off the same way. And we were together all the way to work, except that a bloody oil tanker caught fire on the M1 this afternoon. The M1 was closed, and all the roads, even my little cut-through back lanes, all of my special little rat runs that I think hardly anybody else knows, they were all chock-a-block. So Joe had a lousy start to his journey. I was half an hour late getting to work. The pair of us absolutely dog-tired, so I'm running on fumes at the moment. I was genuinely struggling to keep my eyes open at work tonight. I'm absolutely knackered, and I'm going to sleep like the dead. But I wouldn't miss this, and I wouldn't miss you guys for the world. And Joe, don't know if Joe will be home yet. His sat-nav said he was going to get home, I think, at 11:15. 10:30, 11:15, but that's without any stops. And if he's sensible, he'll have stopped for a rest or stopped for a bit of dinner or something. Plus there was a delay at the beginning of the journey. So he might get home before the end of this live stream, but you know, I hope he's had a decent journey, and that's why Joe isn't here. But I hope you enjoyed him and Simon last night. Well, yeah, let me know what you think. But I'm really glad that we made the effort. So Joe had his day at the yard today and got to spend some proper time with Mustard and had lunch in the caravan and all of that. Because that was all supposed to be part of the adventure. And I felt terribly guilty about depriving him of it yesterday. So at least he had it today. And Mustard has had a nice lunch. Well, we all had a jolly nice lunch. And we didn't go to Istanbul. We went to Moroccan shawarma, which is the very first place that Mustard and I went to, the first time we had lunch together. And we haven't been there since. And I ended up having the wrong thing. There was nothing wrong with it, but what I should have had was same as Mustard. I should have had the chicken. And that's going to be my new go-to place. I'm going to be there next Monday. It'll be my turn next Monday. Oh, and thank you to Simon who bought lunch this afternoon, today, which was really, really kind of him. We had a good laugh today. It was lovely. So yeah, next Monday we're going to be back there. And the salad is absolutely gorgeous. And they do the rotisserie chicken that's all specially prepared. So I'm going to have that next time. Ooh. Today I had lamb shawarma, and it was nice. It was okay, a little bit dry. But there we are, Evening all, says Jaden, that's everything cars, of course. Barry is calling me he's calling me a resot. Oh, and last night's live stream was indeed demonetized, darlings. I can't help myself, can I? And I don't think it was your fault yesterday. I don't remember any of you being too awful. So it's probably me. So Barry says good evening to me and calls me a backwards tosser. So that's kind of him. I don't know if Mike, Classic Wheels Wales, is going to be with us tonight. But he did take the precaution of pinging me on Messenger earlier to call me a massive tosser, presumably in case he doesn't make it here tonight. Good evening all, says Tricia Alderman, and a very good evening to you, Tricia. I hope you and your other half are very well. Thank you for joining us. Barry is driving, so limited input, but he, yes, he has managed to call me the T word, so that's his job done for the evening. The lovely Sophie is with us. Hi, everyone. Evening all. Oh, Trace, bless you. It's really kind of you. Thank you. Evening, Admiral, says Pingu Concord. Have you locked Joe in your dungeon tonight? Now, well, I've explained the Joe thing. Oh my God. Bloody hell. Steve Hulk, I've watched your streams naked in the bath. My bad. Why do you all watch me naked? What's the matter with you? I don't want to cope with thinking about you all naked. I mean, and even if you do it, why do you tell me? Makes me feel weird. I mean, I suppose it's nice that you feel that our friendship is such that we can be comfortable with being naked in front of each other. How would you like it if I got my kit off and I did it naked? Hey, how would you feel about that? No, I won't. I actually think it's really comical that some of you are totally in the nuddy. Oh dear, oh dear. Simone is with us and says, Candlegate, indeed, yes. How are you, Simone? We were talking about you today. Only good stuff, by the way. Good news, says Simone. Excellent, we like some good news. Oh, yes. I have purchased a brand spanking new welder. Good for you, Simone. You can do some wonderful welding related things. Now, I don't really know what a welder is. I mean, I know Mustard had one before he broke it, and it's for sticking metal things together, isn't it? I mean, I know we talk about welding underneath cars. Well, I should know what welding is. I watch Matt, and Furious Matt spends half his bloody life welding recently, more than half. Oh, and on the subject of Matt, the lovely Matt Richardson of the excellent channel Furious Driving, I'm going to take that. Now, I don't know if I've got a right to take this, but in one of his very recent videos, maybe not the last one, but maybe the one before, and I'll put a clip of this in Facebook group, he said that the bits on his prop shaft off Hippo were on the wonk. And I'm taking that as a reference to these live streams because I don't know anybody else who uses the phrase on the wonk apart from me. And, well, there is one other person. On the wonk was a thing that a guy called Tom Wrigglesworth and I came up with. And you might know the name. He's a northern comedian. He's from Sheffield. He's had a couple of series on Radio 4, Tom Wrigglesworth, phoning and whatnot. Really, really funny guy. Lovely, lovely guy. And he and I did some stuff together on Radio Wales. And he's the only other person that I know has ever used the phrase on the wonk. So when the lovely Matt said that something was on the wonk, and I could be completely wrong in this, but, you know, I'm just an ego wrapped in skin. So I'm going to take that as a reference to these live streams. And I'm going to, in my fevered mind, fondly imagine that Matt, the very famous YouTubing legend, secretly, after doing his clever special videos, lurks on these live streams and watches me wobbling on about you lot being on the wonk. And that's the reason for the reference in this video. I mean, it probably isn't, but it is in my mind. I'm taking that. That'll make up for my neighbour shouting at me last night and feeling like I was a boy being told off because he's a policeman. And he's a retired policeman. But I still felt, I felt annoyed that I was being told off. And I felt guilty. And I felt a little bit silly as well. Somebody knows that I'm out there in my dressing gown recording a silly Joe's just sent me a photo of something, but I don't know what and I can't look at it. Yeah, I felt a little bit silly for being caught people knowing that at 2 o'clock in the morning, I wander out there outside my front door to mumble some garbage into, oh, Joe, I've made it home. What an incredible car. Drove superb. Oh, good. So there we are. We can stop worrying. Joe's made it home safely. He's given us the modern day equivalent of 3 rings. Anybody else remember that? 3 rings from the public call, so it doesn't cost anything. 3 rings, phone down, and that means you're home safe. So anyway, there we are. Trace says, I hope that neighbour made it to the... Oh, made it to the daily. I can guarantee you that it was Nick, and I can guarantee you that Nick will not have watched a single minute of my video. Now, Nikki Nunu and her other half, they have watched some videos. Nick never has and never will. He will think it's idiotic. He doesn't often speak to me, to be honest. We're not unfriendly. Well, at least we weren't until last night. And we've helped each other out more than once. We don't gel, you know. He hasn't got, as far as I can tell, he hasn't got a sense of humour. And he can be quite deprecating and cutting, whether he means to or not. So we don't have a super friendly relationship. We're amenable neighbours, or at least we were. But he would hate my videos. He would absolutely hate, I mean, you know, most sensible people would, but he would particularly hate them. He wouldn't see any merit. He wouldn't get the humour. And so, yeah, I doubt he made it to the daily, Trace. A spanking welder, Simone says, Tracy. It's getting hot in here again. Oh, steamy. Could be worse, says Barry. He could have heard you pottering. Well, not out there, he couldn't. He's, I think he's probably seen me, actually, because those curtains over there, now, in theory, they should draw, and they don't. So that window is always open. And there have been a couple of occasions where we've been going at it on the table here, and Nick's car has driven past. Now, I don't know if he's the type of chap who would have a glance in as you walk past or drive past an open window. But I think, well, do you? Now, I'll be honest, and I think it's human nature, I do. If I walk past a window and it's open, I don't mean the window is open, I mean it's, you know, uncurtained or whatever, so you can see in. You always have a little glance, don't you? You can't help yourself. You can't just be me. I mean, you have a quick glance, and then if there's somebody in there, you look away quickly. So, as to whether they hear it, that I doubt, because the walls genuinely are about 6 feet thick. So if I was going at it in the bedroom or here on the table or whatever, that wall there, well, that wall there is about 12 feet thick because you've got a chimney in between it. So it'd be different. I don't think you can hear anything from one cottage to the next. I honestly don't. But outside, when all you've got is double glazing, then, I mean, I played the intro music quieter tonight because I thought, oh, I don't want to piss him off anymore. And but he didn't mention the music. So, but whether that helped and whether he hears the music every night, I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that he doesn't. I'm hoping that the walls are thick enough, but I played it a bit quieter tonight just in case. Anyway, there we are. I can hear my neighbour pottering sometimes, says Simone. Oh, DIY style. Oh, good God. Can you hear somebody doing DIY style? Well, what sort of noise are they making? I mean, if you're self-pottering, isn't that like a silent pursuit? I mean, it's not something that I do as a matter of course, but if I try and think about it, I'm pretty sure it's a silent It's a silent occupation, isn't it? Oh, hang on, that's the wrong bottle. That one's not chilled yet. It was low tide at Wine Bay today. Well, apart from the wines that I've already kindly been bought, but I saved those for special occasions. It was low tide at Everyday Wine Bay. So I had to buy some tonight, which means that it's not cold, so that's just gone straight in the freezer. And this is the last of last night's that I had a bit too much of, to be honest. But okay, well, feature number 1 and the latest attempt to get myself demonetized. If and how can I term this? And please be careful how you reply to this. Let's try and use some circuitous language to give me a chance of earning 12p off this. If and when you commit an act of self-gratification, do you make any kind of noise that could be heard by Simone in the maisonette next door? I'm pretty sure that. Anyway, let's leave that there. Well, I mean, you know, answer it by all means. Right. Today's live from the caravan was so funny. One of the best so far, says Trace. Oh, good, was it? Right, well, I wasn't looking at any of the comments. I was kind of half out of it. I was knackered and full of lunch and nicotine deprived and all of that, but I hope it was a good one. Glad you enjoyed it, Trace, anyway. Oh, I see. Simone, says Trace. Lots of buzzing and stuff. I didn't think about that. I was thinking about a chap, of course. I didn't think about a lady onanist and, you know, various electrical tools or equipment. You're not as central as you could be. You could be a bit more central. Obviously, as usual, on a Monday, I took, what's her name? Oh, Sonia. I took Sonia, the little tripod, to the caravan of last resort. So she's not automatically in the right position. I had to, you know, and I'm tired. I just had to make the best of it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Nothing like home comfort, says Black Lines. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Oh dear. Oh, it's all over with in a flash, is it, Simone? Fastest finger first. Where is Joe, asked Sophie? Well, Joe is now at home. He decided to head home tonight rather than stay here. You can understand that. Who would want to spend the night with a drunken priest? And he's made it home safely, and he had a great drive in his new car. So let's raise a glass to Joe. Cheers, Joe. Happy new car day. Hope you enjoyed your adventure. It was a genuine pleasure to have your company for those few days. And don't be a stranger. He gave me a really good hug before he went. I really enjoyed it. Trace says, that's what I love about staying in a strange place, hotel, etc. It's the looking forward to going home to your own bed and your own toilet. I'm not allowed to show that one, unfortunately. Another moderator must have handled that. Oh, it's not really a bad comment either, but there you go. It's not being shown. Have you thought of selling the V6, asks Skick, considering it's heavy on fuel? Well, that would depend which V6 you're referring to, because I own two V6s. But then it kind of doesn't, because no, I haven't thought about selling either of them, to be honest. That's the honest answer to that, Skip. They are heavy on fuel. They are stupidly expensive to tax, but they're rather nice vehicles. So no, I haven't really thought about selling them. I mean, I'll sell anything if the price is right. Everything is for sale at the right price, but no, I haven't thought about actively trying to sell them, no. Michael Burrows is with us, which is lovely. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to have you here in our little online community, and you are more than welcome, sir. Barry says, we South Walian guys have to stick together, boyo. Too right. Valleys boys. Can you help me with something, please? Asked Michael. It's for my fashion course. Well, we'll do our best, Michael. Ask away and we'll do our best. Oh, Joe. Good evening, everyone, says Joe. Me and the incredible MJ have made it safely back to Bude, which is in Cornwall, which is a very small place. Nowhere in Cornwall is more than 55 miles away from anywhere else, apparently. What a fantastic car. I'm so glad you made it back safely, Joe. I will say this. When I was driving behind you all that way, it looked like, how can I put this? The colour helps. And the fact that it is in good condition. But it looked like a classic car. It didn't look like a banger. Do you know what I mean? It looked really good on the road is what I'm trying to say. Oh, and all of your rear lights work. And your brake light is full and complete. You got no missing LEDs. But glad you got back. Tell us about the journey. Did you stop anywhere? How were the roads? What time? Well, we know about what time you got back there. Did you not stop anywhere then? Because, oh, it must have only been a short stop. Did you eat? Have you eaten? Or are you going to get something to eat now? Fill us all in, Joe. It's like our relationship with Joe has gone on to the next level now, isn't it? Now that we've actually seen him in person and he's been on a couple of lives and everything, it's like next level. Trace says, we watch you naked because we feel very comfortable in your presence. Plus, it won't be a shock if we come to yours and sit there with nothing on. Oh, God. Oh, dear. We need to meet up. We need to rent out one of those massive Airbnbs at Monsell Head, and we should all have a night together. I mean, we'll probably all need counselling afterwards, but be honest, wouldn't it be a laugh? You know, if we did that as a pre-Christmas thing sometime in early December on a cold winter's night, and we get all the log burners going and everything and settle in and we make some nice food and there's plenty of booze. That would be a night to remember, wouldn't it? I mean, God knows it could be a recipe for disaster, but oh God, it would be a good laugh. What an incredible drive home, says Joe. Oh, there you go. He's answering my questions before I even asked them. The motorway was so quiet and no roadworks. Got home super easy. Brilliant. Glad, that's what I was hoping it would be. And Skik says, hi Joe, glad the journey went well. Skik's a very nice person, isn't he? If you can do this one thing for free, says Michael, without a tenner, I would be happy. I wouldn't ask you if it wasn't important. Gosh, okay, well, let's... I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that it involves me showing you my feet. And if that's for your fashion course, I'd be very surprised. But hey ho, we will read on and we will see what transpires. I'm feeling more energized now. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, to be honest. I was so tired. And now I'm feeling okay. I'm still finishing at 12 though, and then I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to get my soddy ass to bed. I'm not doing the daily diary. That's not going out until the morning. I can tell you that. I'm going to bed, and I'm going to wake up whenever the hell I wake up, and I'm going to have a wee, and I'm going to go back to sleep. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care if I don't get up until midday tomorrow. I've just got visions now of Nick hanging out of his window. We're not all fucking nocturnal. Oh dear. Glad you're home safe, Joe, says Sophie. Oh, and Neil says, glad you're back safe, buddy. Hope you're... Do you know? Right, I don't know everything that goes on until I speak to people, and I love this. This makes me incredibly happy, right? Somewhat unbeknown to me, not entirely always, but somewhat unbeknown to me, you guys that particularly hit it off with each other within the community. I mean, the whole community is a fabulous thing, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful, happy and proud to be a part of you all. But some of you, you're making extra special little friendships with each other that I don't even know about. And I think that's fantastic. And when I do get to find out about it, it gives me a real warm glow, because I'm a sentimental old fart these days. I spent too many years not giving a shit about anybody apart from myself. And now this is the sort of stuff that warms the heart of my cockles, or the cockles of my heart. Steve Cole said, oh, lasagna for me later, says Steve. Yeah, right. Now, I don't always remember to remind you about everything or ask you. So, can we assume that I always want to know what you've eaten today, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, the more detail the better. I always want to know that. And it is always your job to name the live stream. So, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. So don't wait for me to ask, or don't wait for me to say, don't forget you've got to name the live stream, guys. Every time it's there. So, every live stream, whether I mention it or not, what have you eaten today, and name the live stream. Those are two givens, along with has anything nearly but not quite fallen on your head. I love the things not quite falling on your head stories. Oh no. Pingu says, I'm afraid Hubnut used on the wonk in his Rover 75 bothering video from 2021. Bloody hell. Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Or, no, right. That just means that Ian, yes, now then, Pingu Concord, now then. Right, in 2021, Ian would not have heard me using the phrase on the wonk in my live streams, because I wasn't doing live streams then, right? So I'll give you that. However, let us not forget, where does Ian live? Ian lives in Wales, South Wales to be precise. Well, actually, never eat shredded wheat, West Wales, South West Wales. So, that means that Ian would pick up Radio Wales, BBC Wales. So, what we can take from Ian using the phrase on the wonk in his Rover 75 bothering video from 2021, we can now take it that Ian is and was a fan of mine from my Radio Wales days, and that's where he picked up the phrase. So, Pingu, it's still going. And I've got an extra celebrity scalp. Yeah, you see, there's ways around everything. There's a way to turn everything round so that it works for you. And that's it. So, in my mind, not only did Matt use the phrase on the wonk as a loving tribute to my to my unexceptional work on my live streams, but the mighty Hubnut, more than 100,000 subscribers, also used the phrase as a tribute to my Radio Wales work. Look at me, hey, influencer. Influencing the great and the good of the YouTube motoring world. In here, anyway. even if not anywhere else. Oh, they always picked up after 2 rings, says Black Lines. Yeah, they did actually. Yeah, they did. If you had fruit pastels, asked Sophie, what would be your favourite flavour, Boaty? Well, now then, I don't know what flavour it is, but it would be the orange one. Now, in any kind of sweets, my favourite is always the orange one. Always. So, fruit pastels, orange. Fruit gums, are they still a thing? Orange. Smarties, orange. God, I haven't had a... When did you last have a tube of Smarties? I haven't had one for about 30 years. And now I'm craving an orange Smartie. I did have some scampi fries on that non-acquisition adventure with mustard. That was a pleasant blast from the past. I do love a scampi fry, don't you? But yeah, always orange. Kit Kats, orange. Club biscuits, orange. Penguins, orange. Terry's chocolates, orange. Yeah, so orange is the answer to that, Sophie. Michael says, would you be able to take one sock off slowly and let me see, please, for my fashion course? Right, who actually thinks that's for his fashion course? Well, I mean, I'm interested to know which fashion course would require research into the sock removal technique and naked foot of a wannabe middle-aged YouTuber. Or, you know, maybe they've heard me use the phrase on the wonk, and maybe I'm now a fashion icon as well. Maybe some big designer names are going to release designer clothing with Boaty on the wonk written all over it. Oh dear. Pingu says, nice to hear you got back safely, Joe, in your lovely new 25. It is lovely. I mean, it's already semi-lovely, quite lovely. And it'll be even lovelier when Joe is finished with it, because he's that sort of guy. He's the kind of guy who's going to improve things, certainly going to improve cars. And I'm really looking forward to that car being a thriving part of our community. Trey says, no, I meant I hope the neighbour shouting at you was recorded and you edited it to your daily diary. I'd finished recording. And yeah, so no, it's not. I wouldn't have put it in anyway. Or would I? I would have put it, I would have put the sound in. I obviously wouldn't have recorded his face, but I would have put the sound in. But no, sadly I wasn't recording it. I do, say Sophie. Yeah, I'm terrible. Oh, and we're talking about the do you glance in at people's windows when they're unguarded by curtains. My neighbour is a bell end, says Black Lines, who complains about everything, and I take great delight in carrying on being normal, knowing full well it annoys the crap out of him. Yeah, I kind of get that as well. Now, when I was married, we had a very elderly, retired neighbour. Name of Donny. He's probably passed away now, bless him, or he would be exceptionally old. And he would complain about anything and everything. He'd got to the age where he had nothing better to do than complain. And I think it's a retired thing. And I think Nick might be, I think my neighbour, I'm not going to name him. I don't want to do a name and shame. He might actually watch this at some point. So I should be careful what I say. But, you know, when he was working, he used to come back at all hours of the day and night. You know, admittedly, he didn't stand outside and record anything. But, you know, the car would come back at all hours because obviously working in the job he did. And, you know, I would never have thought anything of it. And if somebody was standing outside my place or even standing outside next door and they were talking, I wouldn't think anything about that either. So maybe it's a retirement thing. Maybe when you're retired, you get more precious about those things, or I don't know. I mean, I'm genuinely upset that I caused disturbance, but you know, on the other hand, does speaking quietly outside your own front door, albeit at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, is that really out of order? I wasn't shouting, I wasn't playing loud music, I was just quietly talking into a portable electric telephone outside my own home. So, I don't know. Oh dear, Michael, that's very kind of you. Michael is very keen that I remove one of my socks slowly. And one of these days I will do it, Michael. It's not going to be tonight because I'm running out of time. I need to get through the comments. I need to speak to my friends, of which you are now one. But I promise I will do it for you one day. Or I will actually put it on a standalone video. I might do it as a short. And put it out. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I won't do it on a live. I'll do it on a short. I'll set the phone up on a tripod properly. I will remove one sock slowly, as you've asked me to do, and I will show my feet to the world. But I'll do it as a short, not as part of a live stream, because that might be a little bit weird. But thank you. I'm glad you like my vlogs, and you genuinely are very welcome here, Michael. It's lovely to have you. Simone said, Simone says, re the next door's pottering. I can hear her voice and only her voice when it comes to the DIY pottering. Well, yeah, well, I mean, what is she saying? Is it different for women? Do they talk to themselves whilst they're... Maybe she's with a bloke, Simone, but the bloke is being silent and just beavering away, if you'll pardon the expression. Or maybe she's, well, I mean, she might be with another lady, and maybe she's just the vocal one. I mean, if you heard me and Bernard going at it, you'd only ever have heard Bernard, because she never let me get a bloody word in edgeways. Just realised, says Joe, I've left my bottle of wine. Could have done with the glass now. You did, sir. I put it in the fridge for you to keep it chilled for you tonight. And here it is. But you didn't exactly leave a bottle. I mean, there's only that much. You had a good go at it last night, sir. There's only, there's a glass in there, isn't there? So it's not the end of the world. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put it on the table in pride of place, ready for next time. But yeah, I imagine you could do with a little relaxing beverage of some sort after that drive. But I hope you enjoyed it. We were talking about this before Joe went, and one of my greatest pleasures is to do a long drive at night, late at night, more so in summer than in winter, with the radio on, a bit of Radio 4, nice empty roads. I don't even mind the motorway. I love that. So Joe, I hope you enjoyed the drive home. And it's like your bonding thing with your new car, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I love driving back when I've gone a long way to buy a car, like Wetleg or Dick-a-Dum-Dum, and that drive home, it's pleasurable anyway, but it's that bonding experience with your car when you discover it and when you discover what you love. And we both agreed that in a Rover, it should be extra enjoyable because you've got that wonderful ambient orange glow around the dashboard, and that's great. And I think it's particularly relaxing, now I think about it, because it's redolent of an open fire. It's that kind of colour, and it relaxes you as you drive. And it's the best colour for your onboard gramophone illumination. So I hope you had a brilliant drive, Joe, and I wish you many more happy road trips in MJ to come. Was the hug better than Neil, asked Sophie? Yeah, I got a hug. I'm getting hugs left, right and centre now. Neil and Joe. Well, I mean, they were on a par, is the honest answer to that. They were both very enjoyable hugs. God almighty, this sounds a bit dodgy. I never used to be tactile. I didn't have that kind of childhood. My father wasn't a tactile man, and so the idea of a manly hug, a manly embrace, that never came to me. I'll tell you the story of the first one, actually. I mean, quite honestly, a manly hug was an anathema to me. It's not something I ever experienced. My father and I never had that physical closeness, that sort of thing. He hugged me once in my entire life, and that was after a really nasty car crash. And that was the only time. Other than that, physical contact with my father. When I was a child, I used to kiss him on the forehead before I went to bed. And other than that, he shook my hand before I got married and then didn't come to the wedding because he didn't want to. And that was about it with my old man. So yeah, the male hugging thing, totally didn't get that. And then, well, actually, I didn't get the tactile thing with men or women. You know, apart from intimacy, I was just never a tactile person. I didn't have that kind of background. And I can tell you when it first, I might have told you this before, but if I have, I haven't told this story for a long time. I was with my wife at a huge NHS conference in London. I can't remember what it was one of those massive exhibition centres in London, and it was you paid for it, you taxpayers. It was a bit of a jolly. Maggie was paid to attend the conference, nice hotel in London, travelling expenses, all of that, and I went down with her for fun, staying in a posh London hotel, going out for a nice posh dinner, all paid for by the taxpayer, and then the conference thing, and so it was great. We went out the night before, we went out with all of the consultants and had a really long boozy dinner, had a very enjoyable night in a relatively top London hotel, and then rocked up to this conference thing. And the keynote speaker, well, there were a couple. I remember being very impressed by, what's her name? Australian. What's her name? The Australian feminist. One of you will tell me her name, I can't remember it. I can remember her fake name because she was in all of Clive James's autobiographies, but he gave her a different name. But we all knew I knew who it was because Clive told me who it was. I suspected it was. And as you know, I was friends with Clive, and he said, and I just said to him, is that so-and-so? And he said, oh, yeah. Oh, what was her name? Oh, God, how annoying. But she was very impressive. But the main keynote speaker was a guy that I'd never heard of. But he was a guy called Patch Adams. And he achieved a little bit of notoriety or fame because apparently an eponymous film was made about him. and I believe it was called Patch Adams, and he was played by Robin Williams. Yeah, Robin Williams. And he was like the main keynote speaker. And as it happens, he was chatting with Maggie after the do at the bar. And he very kindly, and he chatted with me and Maggie for a while. He was a fascinating man to talk to. I liked him very much. And he gave us a couple of copies of his books, which he personally signed to us. Copies each as well, not even one between us, to Jason and Maggie. We got copies each, personally signed. And then when the time eventually came for us to go our separate ways, and we chatted for a good while, and me before Maggie, he went to give me a hug. And I went, because that's not me. I don't do that sort of thing. And he said, and he sat back down and he started talking. He started psychoanalyzing me, basically. And cut a long story short, 20 minutes later, he gave me a hug and I enjoyed it. And then he hugged Maggie. And ever since then, I've become more tactile. And God, I've gone a long way around the houses to talk about being hugged by Neil and Joe, haven't I? Dear me. I had to get home, says Joe. I was missing my dog and just walked through the door and had a massive hug and kisses. Oh, bless you. I enjoyed our hug, said Joe as well. Top bloke you are, Jason. Never change. Well, I'll change my socks before I do the video for Michael. I will do it, Michael. I will do it. I'll do it as a short. Keep your eye on the channel. Right. Joe stopped at a service station and topped up on fuel. That would have been expensive. Had a little toilet break. Haven't eaten. We'll make something now. I just wanted to get home. My anxiety was going mad thinking I wasn't going to make it. Oh, bless you. A community meetup would be hilarious, says Trace. Neil! Oh dear. Finishing at 12, my arse, says Trace. I'm going to finish at, oh fuck, it's 12. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll go 2 minutes over. I'll get to the end of the comments and then I'm buggering off. I'm knackered. I've really enjoyed tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much for being there. And I'm glad that we were live when Joe got home. Joe really is. Now, this is true. And I said this to him. I can't imagine anybody that I would have rather broken down with. You know, what should have been a total disaster yesterday was actually a decent day. He's just such a nice chap. And I hope you all get the chance to meet him. We should all do a community road trip down to Cornwall and hang out with Joe and Simone for a night, and anybody else who's down there. Oh, we'll drag James as well. Chop's Garage, we'll drag him into it. But of course MJ made it, says Joe, and what a trooper. I kept looking at the reflections on the windows, and yeah, the car looks smart. It does. Some of you need Jesus, says Black Lines. Which is a bit of a non sequitur. But there we are. Oh, yeah, we forgot about the Momo, Joe. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, God. Well, you're just going to have to come back, aren't you? You're going to have to come back. Come back in MJ. And do the whole Momo experience. Bring your cold facilities with you and take some home for you and your mum and your family. I had fish pie for lunch, says Trace, with a side of avocado that needed to be eaten. Michael, I will. I promise I will. I will put it on a short and I will tag you in it. Shison looks like such a smart card as well. And it was weird that I kept bumping into you on the way home. 1 second you was gone, next you was behind me. I was behind you all the time, Joe. We went the same way. That was the way I was planning to go anyway. And you've obviously got a smart sat-nav app on your phone that was trying to route you around the traffic because you went my secret route. I've been using that all week because there were roadworks on the main route. So you went a very secret route. You've got a very clever sat-nav. And I was behind you all the way. I just got delayed at junctions. And then cars either turned off or on a couple of occasions I overtook one and I managed to get back behind you by the time, because I knew it was going to take you to the A38 island and then send you down the A38. And I was desperately trying to get back to being behind you so that I could just wave you off as you went around the island. And we did manage that, so that's good. Neil's busy flogging his crispy work socks. We'll gloss over that. Oh dear. Oh, hang on, I pressed the wrong thing there. I met a celeb last weekend, says Simone. Charlotte Vowden, who was absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know who that is. Pingu had an orange for dinner. Oh, a title. Have some consideration for your neighbours. Not all of us are nocturnal. That is the perfect title. Well done, Trace. That's what it's going to be. I've screenshotted it to remind me. Is that what? Yes, it is, Neil. Neil! Oh, God, I'm not reading that out. I have orange Rocky bars in the fridge, says Simone. Of course you can be my friend, Michael. We're all friends here. You are part of a loving, friendly community now. Oh, yeah, I've got good arches. You will not be disappointed with my arches. I can tell you that. Do you remember as a kid, knock, door, run? And the kids by me, they knock the door and ring the bell and pretend it was not them, the little shit. You can't do knock, door, run now, can you? Because they've all got those grassing doorbells that record you and send you to the police. Oh, Neil, I haven't had a look at the dates yet. Oh God, it's been absolutely mad. Right, I've got free time over the next 2 days. I will definitely remind me, but I will. Yeah, tomorrow, and if not the next day for definite. I might sleep all day tomorrow, but we need to get. I will, because I really want that to happen. I want to cook you two lunch and make another video because the pair of you are really funny. Right, Joe is currently devouring a ham and mustard sandwich and a cup of tea. Good for you. And he's 100% bonded with MJ. Mustard is here. Only just finished editing yesterday's video. Have I missed much? Sod all, mate. Just the normal crap. Blackline says, I used to date a woman from Greenock, and I used to love, in capital letters, the drive home across the M8, A720, A1, down the east coast in the middle of the night, 3.5 hours with the window down and a radio on. I used to, in the early days of me and Bernard, we used to meet at a pub called the Stepping Stones in Ashbourne. And I used to love driving home. At that time, I was driving Black Betty, my MGF Roadster. And, well, actually, no, I did it once. I did it on the first date. Oh, and it was our anniversary a couple of days ago. We pinged each other because it was the 8 years since that first date. And I loved that drive home, yeah. Driving back from Ashbourne across the peak to here in Black Betty in my MGF Roadster. And of course, the next day, the second day, I didn't drive home alone. I had Bernard in the passenger seat. and we were holding hands and stuff. And that was very nice too. Hugs are, Simone, what are those? Well, you'll find out when we have a community meetup. We will all hug you, Simone. You'll be gang hugged. Evening all, says Cheeseburger. It's been a busy few days. Well, we're glad to have you here. And, oh, Trey says, oh, Project Nigel. Look at you with your channel membership star by your name there. And Mustard replied, he practically begged me to do it. I didn't practically, I did. I offered to pay, for God's sake. But yeah, I am really chuffed. And I noticed that the YouTube money has gone in. So if you introduce a cheaper tier on your channel, I will join yours as well. But it's got to be like for like. I'm not going in on your $3.99 job. Introduce a new tier, a new membership tier to your channel, and call it Boaty's tier or something, or call it Boaty's Skint or something, and make that 99p, and I'll join you so we're members of each other. But I'm not having you joining me for 99p and then I have to shell out £4 for you. Although that actually probably would be fair, given that you have actually done quite a lot of unpaid work. All right, ignore that. I'll just join anyway, for a month at least. Right, it's definitely gone midnight. Let's crack through these comments. We've got a title for the live stream. Joe is home safely. Oh, and Trey says, yeah, I know, Mustard. I was watching. He wasn't only begging, he was paying. I was. Absolutely hilarious post-lunch live today. I was crying at times. I'm glad you enjoyed it. No, it wasn't Dame Edna Mustard. Jermaine Greer. That's who it was. Jermaine Greer. And but now I've forgotten what Clive James called her. But it was similarly alliterative. The fake name first and last name began with the same letter, like Jermaine Greer. I knew who it was. It was pretty bloody obvious. But yeah, she was very impressive. I was very impressed by Jermaine Greer. I was going to say then, but I wouldn't have done her. And that's the worst thing that you could say about a feminist. Although she did talk very openly about sex in that conference. Yes, Cheeseburger. Thank you, Jermaine Greer. That's exactly who it was. Oh, God. Hang on. Diddly-doo. Diddly-doo. Oh, Tracy's having a laugh. I'm going to finish it. Oh, fuck. It's 12. Oh, Cheeseburger. The AA didn't have to take him to Cornwall. He bought a senior Mustard car. That comes with a longer warranty than a Mustard and Boaty car. Neil says, I'm past being saved by Jesus. I would walk into a church and it would just burst into I'd just burst into a ball of flames. Jesus saves, says Cheeseburger, but Keegan scores the rebound. God almighty. How 1970s is that? Superstars. I have missed half the comments, Skick. I'm sorry, I'm very sleepy. Oh, thank you, Trace. Apparently I haven't missed that many. Good night, everyone, says so. Good night, says Simone. Yeah, let's all say good night. It is that time. I won't forget Michael, I promise. Hope work was okay, mate. It was fine, Joe. Oh, God. I was struggling to keep my eyes open. But, yeah, it was fine. Not a problem at all. The restaurant was busy, actually. And that kind of helped. Because I got my ass front of house and kept myself busy, and that stopped me from remembering how tired I was. Oh, good man, Neil. Yeah, message me tomorrow. We'll get that sorted. Oh, make sure to rest up tomorrow and have some you time. I will do try. I will try. I'll try to do that. Oh, God. Neil's still going at it with his socks. Oh, before you go, says Mustard, we have a new Mustard and Boaty car tomorrow. We do, darlings. Yeah, I do. I need to tell you about that, so I do. And I need some more wine. Those are the two things that I need right now. And I need some supper. Oh, I'm really hungry now. I wasn't hungry until about 10 seconds ago. Yeah, there are things happening in the world of Mustard and Boaty tomorrow. Oh, and I should add, well, maybe I shouldn't, but I should, because this is, you know, you guys are my inner scrotum. I share things with you that I don't share anywhere else. Today was also kind of another test run. I've done it before, but did it slightly differently. And if all the stars align and everything works out as we hope, then I'm hoping to be spending more time at the yard. So upping it from 1 day of general larking about to like 3 days, maybe 4. Changing my lifestyle a bit, getting up a bit earlier, getting to bed a bit earlier, and doing a few more days at the yard. And kind of, if we decide to go down that route, as I mentioned before, we're kind of doing proof of concept at the moment. But if we kind of launch it a little bit more professionally as a 3-way partnership and, you know, launch an actual company, then I would base myself at the yard for 3 or 4 days of the week. And I think it's still doable and still keep up the evening work, which I would have to do until it became sufficient so that I could start dropping some of the evening work. But anyway, the point is, there are Mustard and Boaty happenings tomorrow. I'm not going to be part of them. This is Mustard on his own, but Derek is going, and there is a new Mustard and Boaty car arriving, and it's going to be, well, it's an interesting one, darlings. It's an interesting one. Oh, God. Neil's still banging on about his socks, so is Sophie. Read through later, says Skick, and let me know if you agree the terms. Oh, God, what have I missed of Skick? Hold on. Hold on, I will scroll back now and have a look. Skick. Right, I missed that one. Think it's a good sign to see in a person how they treat animals. I would totally agree with that one. Skick. Hi Joe, glad the journey went well. Have you thought of selling the B6? Right, that's it. I don't know what I missed of your Skick. Those are all the comments that I can see. So maybe they didn't come through for some reason. Yeah, not a clue. Oh, and Trace hasn't got a clue either. Nobody's seen that. Oh, sorry, Mustard. I won't ruin your video. Oh, it's just these guys. It'll be fine. I haven't told them what it is. And they know that Derek is going in anyway. It's late in the evening. Bye for now. Great vlog, says Michael. Thank you very much. She puts on her makeup, brushes her Paddington bear. Oh, God, that sounds wrong. That sounds wrong. I turn out the light. Boaty, stop farting. Put that cigarette down. Right, that's it. Good night, everybody. It's gonna. Oh, those last few comments have really made me laugh. So, do keep your eyes peeled on Mustard's channel for the update on the on the ins and outs of Mustard and Boaty Do cars, and there will be a new car appearing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll see soon enough. And right, I really am knackered now. That is it, darling. I will risk the wrath of my neighbour, and I will fart you out at full volume. Fuck him. Oh, my phone's locked. Hold on. Where's it gone? Here we go. Unmute. You don't get this on Hobnut. Oh, I shouted then, didn't I? I was a bit too loud. Keep the noise down, darlings. Keep it quiet as you come up to bed. And last one up, turn the light out. Have a safe and peaceful night. Thank you for keeping me company tonight and this afternoon and yesterday and just all the time. Keep on being as wonderful as you are. Thank you again to Mustard for mending Minge Bag so beautifully. Thank you to Joe for a lovely couple of days. And thank you for letting us all know that you got home safely. And thank you to all the rest of you. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Much love to you all. Bye bye. God, I'm tired.